My Hero Academia, 8 of Bakugo's strongest attacks, ranked. Most villains are better off avoiding a direct hit from Katsuki Bakugo's attacks in My Hero Academia. Bakugo's powers are just as explosive as his personality. With the use of his quirk, his palms can sweat a nitroglycerin substance. This is what he needs to ignite massive explosions. He can burn almost anything he touches. His quirk is among the most destructive abilities in My Hero Academia. Bakugo has only grown more powerful since the early days. Given the recent events in the manga, now is a good time to rank his strongest attacks. AP Machine Gun, Blasting Speed Turbo, Cluster and 6 other explosive attacks that Bakugo has used in My Hero Academia. 8. Cluster. Cluster is fast as hell considering Bakugo was able to interfere even when the High-Ends had their arms wrapped around Best Jeanist but had yet to close their grips. Cluster is a special technique that makes Katsuki Bakugo go much faster. He created this technique by condensing all his explosions into much stronger ones. He can reach incredible speeds by doing so. Bakugo first used it accidentally in the Paranormal Liberation War. He managed to save Izuku Midoriya from Tamura Shigaraki, who just recently powered himself up with a painful surgery. This technique is mainly a power-up, so it can't be placed any higher on this list. Nonetheless, Bakugo's mobility is greatly enhanced with this move. It can also be used to strengthen his ultimate attack in My Hero Academia. 7. Blasting Speed Turbo, Cluster. Blasting Speed Turbo, Cluster is yet another variation of the cluster technique. Katsuki Bakugo uses it very similarly to explosive speed. He stretches his arms behind him and then launches several blasts to boost his speed. However, this advanced move is even quicker than a regular cluster. It's among the fastest ultimate moves in My Hero Academia. Bakugo can even keep up with the likes of Izuku Midoriya using this move. Keeping up with the protagonist is not an easy feat in any series. Nobody wants to get caught up in the explosions Bakugo leaves behind after using this move. He can really do some major damage, even with a support move. 6. Stun Grenade. This is where Bakugo really starts to get dangerous. Stun Grenade causes a huge flash of light, temporarily blinding anybody within the vicinity. Bakugo first demonstrated its effectiveness during the sports festival, where his light-based attacks weaken Dark Shadow. He relies on this move whenever he's within a close enough range of his opponents. There's a weaker variation of this move called Point Blank Stun Grenade. He used it to knock out Setsuna Tokage in the joint training arc. However, it's mainly used to incapacitate his targets, so it doesn't leave much damage. 5. Explodapult. Explodapult involves Katsuki Bakugo grabbing someone with one hand. He then uses the other hand to cause explosions. Bakugo and his target will then start to spin around, similar to a tornado. This can be used for offensive purposes, such as when Bakugo threw away Toguro Kamakiri in the joint training rounds. Bakugo can also support his teammates with the Explodapult. This was seen in My Hero Academia, Heroes Rising, where he catapulted Izuku Midoriya to the main antagonist 9. This gave his teammates an extra speed boost. 4. AP Shot. The AP in AP Shot stands for Armor Piercing, which means Katsuki Bakugo only uses this against highly defensive targets. Bakugo concentrates his explosive power to a singular point. Afterwards, he unleashes a short burst of energy that breaks through concrete walls. My Hero Academia characters would not want to stand in the line of fire. Bakugo also uses the AP Shot, autocannon, which scatters the shots in a wider radius. He first performed it against Seiji Shishikura during the Provisional Hero License exam. However, it reduces its damage capacity since it would otherwise be fatal against human targets. 3. AP Machine Gun. This is the powered-up version of the original AP Shot. Using this move, Katsuki Bakugo can fire a rapid volley of explosions in quick succession. He originally used it against Tamura Shigaraki during the Paranormal Liberation War. It's very telling that Bakugo saved the move for Shigaraki, whose power level is among the highest in My Hero Academia. Most characters wouldn't survive a direct blast without regenerative abilities. On a related note, Bakugo also has long-range capabilities with this maneuver. He can easily close the distance between his targets now. 2. Howitzer Impact. This ultimate attack involves Katsuki Bakugo spinning around like a tornado, similar to Explodapult. However, the main difference is that he isn't grabbing anybody. Instead, he jumps in the air and starts moving himself in a circular motion via his powerful explosions. By doing so, Bakugo collects a lot of oxygen to power up the Howitzer Impact. When the spinning tornado finally lands, the sheer velocity will create a massive blast radius, engulfing an entire area. The move was strong enough to destroy Shoto Todoroki's ice wall during the sports festival, an impressive feat in My Hero Academia. 1. Howitzer Impact, Cluster. Bakugo got a new move called Cluster, Howitzer Impact Cluster. Howitzer Impact, Cluster is currently Katsuki Bakugo's greatest move in My Hero Academia, at least until Chapter 360. However, it requires his Strafe Panzer support devices. As the name suggests, Howitzer Impact is powered up by the cluster technique. Using this move, Bakugo can spray powerful blasts of energy in every single direction. This is an extremely deadly attack that can only be used in dangerous situations. He can destroy anything within his path. Bakugo used it against Shigaraki during the final arc. Luckily for the villain, most of the hero's attacks ended up missing him.